Today, I'm gonna show you how to change the oil on your bike. It's kind of crappy outside, so we're just gonna take the day, tear into the bike, and get everything all nice and neat because we just got done with our first track day of the season this past weekend. Personally, I like taking the extra second and making sure I get fresh oil into it after running the bike hard for the weekend, and then just really giving everything a good once over to make sure that there's nothing going wrong and no issues with it. So with that out of the way, we're gonna start breaking into this. First thing we're gonna start with is the oil change. And then we're gonna go through some chain cleaning. I'm not really gonna go through it too heavily. My buddy 2 Down Dan, I'll put the link to his video in the description, but he just got done doing a really good video on how to go through, clean your chain, and breaks down each and every single part of it. And then maybe after that, if it's nice outside, it starts clearing up, we might be able to get the bike out and give it a good wash. But I'm not really thinking that's gonna be an option. It's crappy out. So cool, let's do this. So the first thing you wanna do is get your bike up and on the rear stand if you have one. You can totally do this without having a rear stand, but this helps so much because when your bike's on the kickstand, it's leaned over and it makes it more difficult for you to access things and actually get the old oil out. That was easy. Now that the bike's on its stand, you can really start breaking into things. So the first thing you want to do is find your filter. Actually, before that, you want to get gloves because this is going to get messy. These are the gloves I use. They're really great. They're 2-layer gloves. So if the first layer breaks, you don't have to worry about getting too dirty, too messy. You still have another layer. They're really durable. I use them for pretty much everything. All right, we got gloves. So what you're going to do is find your filter. For the 4RR, the filter is right there. So some bikes, you have to take the lower part of the fairing off. This one, you can luckily get underneath and reach without too much of a problem, but I'd be lying if I said it probably wasn't easier to just take that off. So that's what I'm gonna do. All right, so I just spent a good minute trying to find a push pin puller tool, but still couldn't find it. And it kind of works out because the way this push rivet is set up, I can kind of get away with just using a fuse pulling tool. So watch this. So that worked out. It was a little bit of a fight, but it worked. So now I have that part pulled off pretty much as I can. This part's connected all the way up to here inside, so that makes it a little difficult. Can't really just pull it down. But what it did do is give me room to move here, which is what I need. So we can get into here now. And me personally, I like using a strap wrench for this next part because after a while, the pressure on the filter makes it really hard to remove. I don't feel like dealing with that. So we're gonna get under here, we're gonna put that on, and we're gonna remove this filter. So my normal way of doing this is not going well with this. That filter is on tight and I don't have an actual adapter or the filter removal adapter. So I normally just use strap wrenches. So I'm gonna have to give it the old, put a screwdriver through it and twist. I decided, screw it. We're just gonna go get the more correct tool and hopefully make it through that way. So yeah, I'll meet back up with you in the garage. We're back in the garage. You guys saw nothing earlier. We've been doing this right the whole time. This filter looks the way it does because it was like that when I got it. Now that we have the right stuff, we're gonna take this, which is our wrench, slap it onto our ratchet, and then loosen it up. Okay, so I'll admit I may have messed this up a little more than I thought, which is exactly why we picked up this self-adjusting one. Should be able to just do it by hand now. Now, in the next part of this, you gotta go in and grab the drain bolt so that way everything else can drain as well. So that's what we're gonna do. Now, the drain bolt for this is this guy right here. And it's about a 17mm head. So I'm just gonna use a crow's foot and pop it off that way. Shouldn't take too much force. And then loosen it the rest of the way by hand. So this crush washer that's in here too, we're gonna toss that. We're not gonna use that anymore. It's old, it's used, doesn't matter. Also, this is definitely a job that you're gonna wanna have some shop towels for. You didn't see already, if you don't have it already, go get some shop towels. So as it's coming out too, you wanna look at it, you wanna inspect it, make sure that it's not sparkly, not cloudy, anything like that that could be a sign of excessive engine wear or, you know, contaminants, particulates, things like that. But this oil, I mean, it looks about as I would expect it to. So we're good. In the meantime, I'm gonna clean this off, set it off to the side, and we're actually almost done. Like, it's not a tough job doing oil on your bike. It's just the filter, your bolt, and then you drain it. That's it. Afterwards, you just put your filter back in, put your drain bolt back on, and then fill it with the oil you want. I'm gonna be running a 10W50 this time. The bike normally calls for a 10W40, but I'm pushing this bike pretty hard, pretty regularly. So I just wanna have a little bit of overhead for higher temperature and a little bit of a different viscosity. So I just want to test that out, see how it works. I'll show you the rest of the process and that'll be the oil change. So make sure every time you do this, you do use a new crush washer. That's pretty important. The crush washer, I'm just gonna wipe that off. It should be mostly drained. It's pretty much drained. Put this back on. So another thing with these two is when you're tightening all this stuff back up, it's important to not wrench it back on. So for here, I snugged it up. I'm just gonna give it a little tap. Done. Easy. After that, grab our new filter, grab your oil. Actually, never mind. This one's already pre-oiled. You can see it's sealed up in there, it's greased, it's oiled. So this is good to go. I'm not stressed about this. We're good. So I'm gonna take this off. And just before we go to put it on, one thing that I like to do is put a little bit of oil in the filter. So get that in there, and then we install. Again, you don't have to snug it up. Hand tight's fine. Wipe everything down. That part's done. This is where it's really beneficial to have your rear stand. You're gonna be filling through your filler neck, and you're gonna have this sight gauge. And this sight gauge is gonna let you know if you have the correct amount of oil in it. So we'll loosen this, and because we're responsible adults that use the correct tools every time from the beginning, duh, you're gonna put it in your front. And then from there, you're just gonna fill. Super easy. All right, see how this is almost smack in the middle. So we're probably only gonna need about half of this, and then we're done. So it's all done. You can see it's right in the middle. That is how much we need. We've now filled it up. Put your cap on, and we're done. So I'm gonna get to cleaning my chain, cleaning off the rest of this bike, getting it good as new. I'm not gonna run you guys through that, because like I said in the beginning of the video, my buddy Two Down Dan did a good job showing you guys how to do it yourself. So if you want to take a look at his video, make sure to go check down at the bottom. The link will be there. Otherwise, I'll see you guys later. Have a good day.